Hi, this is KMOT. This is a continuation of the preparation of the bank reconciliation, and I still want to refer to this part as part 2.1. However, I still want to emphasize that this part 2.1 relates to cash payment journal. I've already tackled the cash receipt journal, which also related to part 2.1. I'm still going to look at the question paper, which was written on 10th of June 2016. And I'm still going to use the Excel spreadsheet to illustrate the completion of the cash payment journal. Without wasting your time, I quickly want to go to the question paper. There you go. That's essentially how the question paper looks like. We're still doing question 2. It relates to ABC Fashion Wholesalers for April 2015. Quickly want to take you to requirement 2.3 because this is our final product. We require to calculate the bank reconciliation statement on 30 April 2015. However, we're currently busy with 2.1 and we've tackled the cash receipt journal. Now we're going to tackle the cash payments journal. Let's quickly go to our given information. We're going to follow the same technique that I applied in preparation of the cash receipt journal. That is, I'm going to compare the cash payments journal with the bank statement, and I'm going to also compare the bank reconciliation statement of the previous month with the bank statement. Before I focus on nitty-gritties, I quickly want us to go through the information that is given. Bank reconciliation for the previous month, we spoke about it. I've already highlighted certain amounts in green, meaning that we're not going to take into account those amounts because we have taken those amounts in the completion of the cash receipt journal. That's how the cash receipt journal looks like. However, we're not going to focus on that as we've completed the cash receipt journal. We're given the cash payment journal. I want to highlight it in yellow for ease of reference. There you go. Remember, this has already been prepared by the bookkeeper. We're going to employ the same format or structure, if you like, in preparation of the cash payment journal. So we're going to use the same columns that are referred to in the cash payment journal that is prepared by the bookkeeper. As we're updating this, we're going to employ the same technique that we did when we did the CRJ. I'm going to take the totals because that's essentially what we would like to update. I'm going to take the totals as they are and I'm going to post them to my Excel spreadsheet relating to the cash payment journal. I'd like to refer to the cash payment journal as the CPJ. Okay, quickly, let me just commence by posting the totals. Remember, this total constitute all those entries. It is broken down into the total that relates to creditors, control, that's the amount of 16,100, trading stock, it's amount of 24,200, and sundry amount, it's an amount of 21,075 rands. I'm quickly going to copy those amounts. I'm going to take them to my Excel spreadsheet. There you go. That's how my Excel spreadsheet looks like. I'm going to copy it there and I'm going to populate the first line item on the cash payment journal, and I'm going to populate that specific cell relating to the creditors column. Remember, the amount of 16,100, it's attributable to creditors control. We were specifically told in the cash payment journal that has already been prepared by the bookkeeper. The amount of 24,200 relates to trading stock, and the amount of 21,075 specifically relates to sundry amounts. Just sundry account. Just quickly on the sundry accounts in regards to details, I'm not going to write anything because this is an accumulation of various transactions. Just quickly, their bank will be the sum of that cell and that cell and that cell. So I'm essentially going to say sum of from there to there equals to, there you go. You can quickly compare that amount with the amount as per the cash payment journal that has already been prepared by the bookkeeper. So moving along swiftly, I want to quickly pre-populate other columns. That's a folio column. This relates to the balance brought forward. I'm simply going to say BF, that indicates a balance brought forward. Under details, I'm going to write totals because it refers to the total amount. Day is the 30th. I'm not going to write anything on the document because this is made of different amounts. Moving along swiftly, let's go back to our information. There you go. At this point in time, I'm going to do a comparison. Before I even go to the comparison, I quickly want to go to the bank statement. I just want to verify that the bank statement relates to ABC. Yes, it does. It says ABC Fashion Wholesalers. It's important, especially when you employ a specific organization. Just don't assume that it relates to your entity. You need to make sure that it relates to your entity. It relates to ABC Fashion Wholesalers. It's for the month of 30 April 2015. We're looking at the appropriate bank statement in regards to the relevant month, and it's from Guess Bank. Remember, initially what we did when we did the CRJ, we compared the amounts as per the CRJ with the credit side of the bank statement. For the purpose of preparation of the cash payment journal, we're going to do the same comparison, except that we're going to focus on the debit amounts. I would like to commence by comparing the bank reconciliation statement of the previous month with the bank statement. I'm going to focus on the debit side quickly. Let's start with the first amount. On the bank statement, we're given an amount of 2,257. I'm looking at that amount because I can see it specifically relates to checks. I just want to see whether the check has been taken into account. If it's taken into account, we're going to tick it off because we're not going to take that amount into account when we prepare the current month's bank reconciliation. Now we're going to take it into account when we prepare the CPJ, when we do the update of the CPJ. Let's quickly go there. That amount appears. I'm going to highlight it in green. Highlight it in green. Highlight it in green. There you go. It's a time-consuming exercise. Please bear with me. Let me just use the check number as the reference number. I think it's easy and quite quick. A59, I'm quickly going to check whether we've got a check specifically relating to the check number. A59, we have it. Reconciled, we're going to take it off. Reconciled. There you go. Is there any other check number that starts with A? No. Let's quickly go there. As you can see, all your outstanding checks are A's, like A50, A54, A57. So we don't have any other check that we need to take into account when we compare the bank reconciliation of the last month and the bank statement. Moving along swiftly, now I'm going to compare the cash payment. I'm going to compare that column, that is the bank column of the cash payment. I'm going to compare each of those amounts to the bank statement. Let's quickly go to the bank statement. Firstly, I want to start with the amount of 13,000. It appears. I'm going to highlight it in green. It's a time-consuming exercise, so please bear with me. Going to highlight it in green. There you go. Next amount, 7,500. Do we have an amount of 7,500 on the debit side of the bank statement? It doesn't look like. The next amount is 600. Do we have an amount of 600 on the bank statement debit side? It doesn't look like. The next amount is 16,100. Do we have an amount of 16,100? Yes, we do have the amount relating to that. I'm going to highlight it in green, highlight it in green. There you go. 11,200 is the next amount we want to compare. We don't have an amount of 11,200. The next amount is 12,350. Going to do the same exercise. That's that amount. I'm only going to highlight this in green. This could possibly be a duplication. In actual fact, it is a duplication without even consulting the additional information. But I'm only going to take one amount. I'm also going to tick that off. There you go. The last amount relates to the 625. The amount of 625, it looks like it doesn't appear on the bank statement. The next thing that we're going to do, we're going to update the bank statement. We're going to update the CPJ with some of the amounts that appeared on the bank statement but were never reflected in the preparation of the CPJ. Remember, I'm not going to take all amounts. I'm going to start with that amount. Allow me to use a different color. I'm going to start with that amount. I'm going to use yellow. That amount relates to bank charges, but there could be other amounts relating to bank charges. So I'm going to go and check all those amounts that are not highlighted, but I specifically want to update my CPJ with amounts that specifically relate to bank charges. So it's that amount is the cash deposit fee. Certainly it relates to bank charges. The other amount is the 140 relating to the tax levy. Certainly it relates to bank charges. Is there any other amount that relates to something else? I'm not going to talk about it. I'm not going to talk about that one at this stage. The interest that relates to interest, I'm not going to talk about it because I only want amounts that specifically relates to bank charges. It relates to interest, I'm not going to take it. The 12,900 relates to something else, I'm not going to take it. The last amount that would impact the total of the bank charges is the amount relating to service fees. I'm going to highlight it in yellow. There you go. So let's quickly go populate our cash payment journal. The document number will be BS, apologies. So if you want to refer to this amount, you need to consult the bank statement. The date is still the 30th. I'm going to call this bank, guess bank. So it relates to the guess bank. It's the bank statement specifically relating to guess bank. I'm not going to write anything. I'm not going to write anything because this cell is a sum of this cell and that cell and that cell. I'm just going to filter down the formula so that I don't have to do the formula all the time. I'm going to populate the appropriate cell. I'm not going to populate a cell relating to creditors column in regards to bank charges because it doesn't relate to creditors control, nor does it relate to trading stock. It specifically relates to bank charges. Bank charges will be classified under sundry accounts in preparation of the cash payment journal. I'm going to say equals to, let me quickly go there. It's an amount of 1770 plus 140 plus a service fee 535 equals to. So the total in the bank column has been updated because remember I said it equals to the sum of all those cells. We came to an amount of 2,445 relating specifically to bank charges. Bank charges. There you go. Moving along swiftly. The next item that I'm going to tackle, I'd like to tackle easy marks. The next item that I'm going to tackle that appears on the bank statement but doesn't appear on the cash payment journal, it's amount relating to the interest on the overdrawn account. So basically it will be that amount, as you can clearly see. I'm going to highlight that in yellow, or should I use a different color? Okay, let me use pink. I'm going to highlight it in pink. The other interest, which relates to an overdrawn account, is that amount. I'm going to highlight it in pink as well. We don't have any other interest. Remember that interest specifically related to a credit on the bank statement. However, we're dealing with amounts that are reflected on the debit side of the bank statement because we would like to update the cash payment journal. So it's an amount of 650 and 1,330. I'm going to take those amounts. Once more again, they specifically relate to sundry accounts. They do not relate to creditors control account, nor do they relate to trading stock. So I'm going to say equals to, if I remember properly, it was 650 plus 1330 equals to. As you can see, that amount has automatically been updated. It relates to Gas Bank, enter, there you go. And the doc is still the bank statement. I'm not going to write anything on that dates because we're updating on the same date as the date that is used for the totals. Moving along swiftly, we haven't tackled that amount. I'd like us to go to additional information. I just wanted to focus on easy marks at this stage in time. I want to go to the additional information. Let's quickly go to the additional information and see if we can get further details relating to those amounts that were not taken into account. The first transaction has been taken into account in the preparation of the CRJ. Can I not talk about it, please? Apologies. Transaction number 2. Let me quickly read transaction number 2. It says the bank statement showed an unpaid check of 3,250 that was received on 16 April 2012 from a tailor. This check was dishonored because the debtor disappeared without trace. So we're going to take this check. We're going to take it to the we're going to take it to the cash payment. We're going to take it to the cash payment journal because initially when we received this check, we took it to the CRJ, but the fact that we're not going to receive, it doesn't have any funds, we're not going to receive any cash, we're going to write it back, we're going to reverse it in our books. When we reverse it in our books, we're going to take it to the cash payment journal. It specifically relates to that item. Can I highlight this in green just to indicate that I've actually dealt with this amount? Or I can even highlight it in yellow. Remember, it indicates that I've actually dealt with this amount. It doesn't appear on the CPJ, so I didn't want to highlight it in green, otherwise it was going to confuse you. Let's go do the update of that amount. It's 3250. I'm going to write it. This amount doesn't relate to creditors, nor does it relate to trading stock. Remember, it relates to debtors. Debtors effected payment. However, we since discovered that there were no funds, therefore we're not going to get any payment. So we're going to take it to sundry accounts. 3250. There you go. It's specifically, I forgot to write the description. Allow me interest. On overdrawn account. Allow me to copy the formats. There you go. I just want to open it a little so that you can read it nicely. There you go. This specifically relates to, let me quickly go check. Oh yeah, it was debtors control. It was debtors control. Debtors control. There you go. Let's go write other important details. It's bank statement because it appeared on the bank statement. It relates to a tailor. So I'm just going to say a tailor. It refers to a tailor. That's it. Taking that into account, moving along swiftly, let's go to the next line item. We're going to go to the bank statement. What other items haven't we taken into account? We haven't taken the 650 into account, the 15,740 and the 12,900 into account. Let's quickly go to additional information. That has been taken into account. I'm just going to highlight in green. Transaction number 3 relates to a debit entry on the 29th of April 2015. Was in respect of the debit order in favor of Easy Insurance. So it's the date we're gonna use to trace that amount in the bank statement is 29 April 2015. Do we have 29 April 2015? There we go. They specifically said that it related to Easy Insurance. So I'm going to take that amount, 12,900. I'm going to enter that amount in my cash payment, a document number, a bank statement, because it appeared from the bank statement. It relates to Easy Insurers. I'm just going to say Easy Insure. I'm going to populate the appropriate amount. Remember, it doesn't relate to creditors control, nor does it relate to trading stock. It actually relates to insurance. I'm going to take it to sundry accounts because we do not have a specific column for insurance. So I'm going to take it to sundry account. So I'm going to write it there in sundry account. How much was it? 12,900. 12,900. There you go. And details, it relates to insurance. There you go. We've dealt with that amount. I'm going to highlight it in yellow. We dealt with that amount. Okay, moving along swiftly. What other amount have we taken into account? I've done the transaction. Okay, I just did the transaction. Allow me to highlight it in green. I'm going to skip all those transactions because they are highlighted. So it means that I've taken those into account. I'm at additional information transaction number 6, check number B52. I quickly want to check, do we have that check number B52? Yes, it appears on the bank statement. Was incorrectly entered in the cash purchases journal as 600 instead of 650. So the amount is actually correct at the bank. Just quickly want to see. Yes, the amount is correct at the bank. However, as far as the cash payment journal, the amount was actually understated. So essentially, that's the amount that we are addressing. I just want to highlight that in yellow. That's the amount that we are addressing. Okay, I'm just going to use green. So we need to make a correction. We need to put 50 rands more to the cash payment journal. So I'm simply going to go there. Let's quickly go to transaction number 6 once more again. It specifically relates to rates. So I'm going to say BS. That's for the bank statement. The amount relates to Metro. So I'm going to say Metro, that's the service provider. We're going to take it to sundry account because it doesn't relate to creditors, nor does it relate to trading stock. Remember, we only want to bring the amount of 650, so I'm going to say 650. That's the amount that we're supposed to have, and that's the amount that we have. The remainder will be taken to the CPJ, and this specifically relates to rates. Moving along swiftly, I just want to highlight this in green. We've taken that transaction into account. Is there anything else we've been taking into account? That check number has not been taken into account. Let's quickly go check. It's check number 634. Let's quickly go check if we have anything relating to that check. Oh, there you go. check number 634 for 15,740 withdrawn by the head office on their account appeared in the business's bank statement. So this is an error that will be fixed or will be corrected in the bank reconciliation. So it does not affect the CRJ, nor does it affect the CPJ. So I'm not going to take it into account, and I'm not going to highlight it, because when we deal with the preparation of the bank reconciliation, I need to remember that I still need to take into account that amount. There aren't any other amounts that are not highlighted on the debit side. Check number, let's quickly go to transaction number 6. Check number B5 was erroneously debited twice on the bank statement. This is the error that is committed by the bank. Therefore, we're going to fix this error in the bank statement. This is where my presentation ends. In the next presentation, I'm going to do requirement 2.2. Thank you, guys.